All right, ladies and gentlemen, episode 122 of the DrewCast. I'm your host, Mello15, and with me tonight, my disembodied voice, we got Jo. Before we get started, the last 2 weeks I had my little brother William on. For me, it was an absolute pleasure, honor to have him on. He was here visiting for a little bit. Now he's back home. I just want to let you know, William, I love you. Keep your head up. Me and Justin are in your corner 100%. I love you. Like I told you when you were here, this family, we have big things planned as a group of us. And I want you to know that me and Justin will always be here for you. And you're a part of those plans, bud. So, just keep your head up and we'll get things rocking. So, but to start tonight off, guys, there's been weeks where I'm like, damn, I can't, Justin, I can't show up here talk about UFO stuff like that, bro. But, this is happening. Like this shit is getting like real, bro. Like there is no like at a certain point, right? You guys are gonna have to stop calling your friends who are like me conspiracy theory friends. Like this isn't a conspiracy theory anymore, in my opinion. This is like stuff's really starting to happen now. Like this is not a joke anymore. So a lot of the stuff I'm talking about is just to like kind of bring light because I know a lot of people in my personal life who don't even know a lot of the stuff that we talk about, bro. You know what I mean? Like they literally don't know this is happening. They're like, what? Like this is Congress people are talking about this now? Like there's a hearing? The David Grush interviewed us on a News Nation that people are like, what? When did that happen? So like there's been weeks where I'm like, okay, hey, we can't talk about this again, right? But like there's so much stuff happening now. I kind of feel like a lot of my purpose is starting to become clear. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you zeroed in on something and bro, that's it right there, right? For the longest time, right? Everybody has this problem. Everybody's like, hey, what am I going to do with my life? Right? What is my purpose in life? What am I here for? That's like the most common like question that people ask themselves, right? It's like probably the biggest existential question. Like, what am I here for? What are we going to be doing for the rest of my life? Right? Like, I know I'm not going to podcast forever, right? So I gotta do something to when podcasting is done. And hopefully I end on a high note, right? That I could still continue to like give back to the earth the best way I can, right? Like, and that's through the work I do or just like the stuff that I contribute to other people. Like, I want to be able to still have a really good, like, my purpose here, right? So the last couple of years, it's like, hey, this has been my purpose, and I truly believe that, bro. Like, I literally come on here every week and I get super excited. Most people, like, I think this is like an attestament. It's like an testament to like just how passionate I am about podcasting because a lot of people like they don't make it past episode 20 on their podcast, right? I mean, we've talked about this before. Like there's like a literally if you go past episode 20 on your podcast, you're in the 1%.
There's there's like two that I could think of right now that are like really big people. I think I'll just say one guaranteed because I don't know about the second one, but it's like on episode like 13, which might seem like a lot to some people, but like you said, like isn't at all. And
No.
like you could already tell they're like struggling to find ways to keep doing their thing.
Yeah, and so I haven't felt that way yet. I mean, maybe like a couple weeks ago when like, I told you guys like I was going through some shit and like I just my heart wasn't there that week. I shouldn't even have shot that week, but I still felt like I needed to give our subscribers something, right? So I come here every week and I get super excited. And bro, like there's times when like Justin edited for like 3 straight years and never complained, bro. This guy never complained to me. And I'm not saying that's what you were doing, but not once, bro, did Justin ever say, "Hey, bro, I'm tired of always editing by myself. Can you learn?" He never said a damn word, bro. He just did what he was supposed to do and did it because either he cared about what we were talking about or cared about the mission or cared about helping me. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. He never complained once. And now that I also edit the podcast too, there's times when it's like, hey, there's stuff going on in life, bro. I don't have time to sit here and edit, but like I still do it and I still show up every week and I'm hella excited, right? So I feel like, hey, I finally had like a clarity moment, like, hey, this is my purpose, bro. I love talking about this kind of stuff. Like this stuff is really like it's crazy because if you example, last week we talked about the Kumbergaz UFO, right? Crazy incident that happened in Turkey. You know, the guy, he's filming UFOs over the water of Turkey. He gets pictures of them, video, and it what looks like occupants are in this craft, right? If you look that up on YouTube, there's barely anything about it, right? Like nobody really talks about it.
I don't think it's titled that.
The Kumbergaz
That's
UFO,
probably why.
probably.
Because there's, I had a video that I was gonna show you last week, and this, yeah, the way we had it set up, it just couldn't happen. But there's a video where it shows like a bunch of footage, like raw,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows like this account goes back like 9-10 years of like video footage,
Of that same,
but it's just like none of it's titled that.
maybe I got the title from, I think it was like the History Channel. Oh, and Twitter too, because Twitter, the UFO Twitter pops off with this kind of stuff, and like you have a lot of people who are like journalists that have been in the game for years talking about it. But you know, stuff like that. Like I feel like the stuff that we talk about is interesting too, because it's like, hey, not many people are talking about it. So when you show up here, you know we're about to have a blast. You know we're about to talk about stuff that's like out of this world crazy, that like nobody else would even dare touch because they're hella scared of like, I know people don't like the word the Matrix, but I'm gonna use the Matrix. They're just scared of like the powers that be wouldn't accept them, right? Like if we go to a podcast convention, oh you guys are the UFO people, or you're this, like I'm not scared of that. Like I don't care about that. That's how I know that's my purpose, right? So the first topic though tonight, it's about the universe, right? So that before they estimated the universe was about 13 billion years old, give or take, right? And with the James Webb Telescope, they're able to see that within 300 million years or 500 million years of the Big Bang, that like galaxies are already more fully mature than they're supposed to be, right? They're like, wait a minute, galaxies shouldn't be that mature already. But in the Big Bang is supposedly it happened 300 million years before that, right? Which in like space and time terms, 300 million years from the Big Bang isn't that far away, bro. Like if you're thinking about it in terms of space and time. So, and I'll put it up here. According to the study's author, a physics professor at the University of Ottawa, their newly devised model indicates that the universe is 26.7 billion years old, significantly older than the previous estimate of 13.7 billion years old. I get it. That's the point of science, right? Science will change, right? Science is supposed to, you figure something out, and then once new information comes in, then science changes. And I get that's what it's supposed to be. I think we should just stop giving the universe an age. I don't think, I think what, let's say in like 30, 40 years, the number is going to change from 26 to 50 billion years old. In 100 years, the age will probably, it's 100 billion years old now, right? When are we going to, when are we going to accept that like it probably doesn't have an end or beginning? Like that makes,
at least they should at least document it when they have a modern answer. No.
yeah, no, and you're right. Like I kind of did come off as like, don't document it at all. Let's not talk about it. Yeah, it's actually kind of, yeah. So Justin's right, guys. Like obviously still document it, but I kind of low key think there is no end and there is no beginning, and I think they will find that out sooner or later, right? Like there's no, how does that make sense to have an end or beginning? Like what would be at the end or beginning? Like, you know what I mean? And would you want to find that out though? Like that's the crazy part of that, right? Like would you even want to find that out? I don't know if I would, bro. Like I honestly don't know if I'd want to find that out. Like that's, imagine seeing that too. So I mean, the study was cool to find that out, right? Because like I think since I've been, interested in this topic, that was the 13.7 billion years has been like the initial, like that's the age of the universe. Even in previous episodes, me and Justin have talked about the fact that I don't think the universe has an age at all. I just think it's something that's always been here, will always be here, and it's probably just been expanding forever. I don't know. Like it's kind of weird to think about like it having an end or beginning. But
I don't think we can even grasp the science behind any of that, to be honest. Its creation, how long it's been here, like what it does, what it's here for.
I don't think we'd be able to either. No. I mean, I honestly think it's actually really important, and I know this might sound weird, right? But I think it's really important that we live on a planet where we die, where things die, where like, plants die, regrow, like the cycle of everything, like the seasons and everything, because honestly, like it kind of gives the experience more meaning, right? Like for instance, without any of that kind of stuff, it's like we're just living in like a vast dark emptiness that's expanding. We're on some random planet, and like what if like we never died? Like wouldn't that be boring as hell? Like I think like the fact that like this happens is kind of cool in a sense, and it kind of gives me like a kind of like calms my nerves a little bit, because it's like, bro, like imagine like just never dying. Like time just doesn't exist and nothing has an end or beginning. I kind of think that things were put in certain like compartments to like make the experience more enjoyable and give it more meaning. Like, instead of just like, okay, well, what do we do for the next 1 million years? I'm just gonna imagine talking to the same people for 1 million years. Could you do that? I mean, I could, right? But like, would you want to? A
Mhm.
1 million years
I
talking
mean,
to the same people.
for what we do as humans, no. But who's to say they even do that somewhere else?
Imagine the same group of people. Like you don't get to choose what family you're born into, right? Like for now, for eternity. I don't know. Like I know that sounds kind of messed up, and a lot of people who come from bad families are probably like, yeah, I wouldn't want to know these guys forever. But it's like, bro, like, so I'm kind of glad that like we live in like a certain like compartment of time, because like it kind of gives the experience better meaning, in my opinion.
I just kind of thought of is you know how on Earth there's the theory of evolution,
Mm-hmm.
how like we kind of just evolved from essentially cells
To like
and
fish that went on land, and
all
yeah,
that stuff up until to where we got now.
yeah.
I wonder how that would even work on like another planet. Does like evolution just happen on every single planet that way? Can it? How does it?
And yeah, like why would it happen the same
Or
too?
like why did we evolve into humans, but you know, a planet like millions of light years away, their evolution didn't
Didn't have
turn them
another.
into humans.
Yeah, and who's to say that like I it would be kind of interesting to find out that like humans are the only things of their kind. Like maybe other intelligent life don't even have like the same. It's like unfathomable almost. Like it's almost like, Warren makes fun of me. Shout out to you, Warren, because we're about to shoot our 4-year anniversary video soon. If he even shows up, but I'm not playing. But he always makes fun of me about the lizard people theory, right? And it's like that's not really a theory that you can really make fun of me for, because if the universe is that size, then there should be something that looks like that, right? So I think it's just something we can't comprehend, and maybe that's why the universe expands the way it does, right? To keep everybody kind of away from each other, right? The Fermi paradox is probably like something built within the fabric of the universe to essentially keep us from like our brains exploding, right? Like, what if we're not really meant to interact with other like civilizations? What if it's just like, hey, you stay here, you guys stay here, and it's expanding, and like, cause like think about it, right? Like, we've talked about this before, but some people can't even handle that like brown and black people exist with them on this planet, right? So you're telling me that they'll accept other civilizations when like their religion tells them it's demons? You know what I mean? So, but
Or like how you were just talking about the oh you didn't mean you were talking about it off camera. You know how I mean you were talking about like oh you did. You know how okay, so that just the concept of like aliens and aircraft, right?
yeah,
We think we see them, they're like flying spaceships here and stuff. Like that concept alone is kind of weird because that's some shit humans do,
yeah.
but they're not human.
So that maybe they don't
Like
travel the same
imagine
way.
like a monkey or like a dolphin like being smart enough to craft a
Something.
flying fucking vehicle and then just flying it. Like take a monkey for example, because they're
Mhm.
kind of like us. Like we just that wouldn't make sense to us. How are you smart enough to do that? Because we think that humans are like the
Like the
end
apex.
all be
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
knowledge, but somewhere like 1 million years, there's
Does
a
this make sense
weird
to you?
alien specimen that just yeah, we can travel through fucking ripples in time.
And what if it's easy for them? Now, okay, before we get off this topic, it kind of blends really well with what you just said. I was talking to Warren the other night about, the potential that like what if aliens and UFOs are just like technology or AI that got so advanced from a past civilization that can 3D print themselves into a physical into the physical realm, you know? But let's look at it this way, right? Kind of what you just said about the monkey and the dolphin, right? we're pretty smart, right? And like we know that like crows are smart and octopus are smart, and there's a lot of like dolphins are very smart, whales are smart, right? But try try teaching a crow how to build a cart, right? Now, I think that's what a lot of alien technology is to us, right? Now, to us humans, building a car is easy. We have a lot of people who are very good at it, and it's very easy for them, right? That's something we can do now, and we make it look easy, right? But how did the crow build the cart? That's what I'm comparing it to, right? Like, what if their technology is so out of this world and just so unfathomable that it's like almost trying to tell a crow to build a cart, right? Like, what if their technology is so advanced that it's almost simple? Like maybe we think that like, oh, going through space and time with wormholes and ripples is like hard to us, but it's not hard to them. What if they just come from a place where it's like easy? It's like just easy. Does that make sense? Like it's so advanced that
Yeah.
it's easy to them, but it's not easy to us because it's like trying to teach a crow to build a car, but you can't teach a crow to build a car because it can't even comprehend what's happening.
I mean, you don't even have to use that example. I feel like people like less than 100 years ago would think that about us now. Like, try explaining to like someone in like the
17,
our,
1800s.
people that are like alive today. Like, take like a like say like an 100-year-old grandma,
Yeah.
right, who was born in like 1923. Try to explain to them what Wi-Fi is. Try to explain to them what an electric vehicle is. Try to explain to them, the fucking iPhone. Like, they're gonna look at you like you're
You're like,
you're crazy or you're an
yeah.
alien. But that's stuff that we're all used to because we,
Yeah, I
we
think
saw it
that's also a
exist.
very good example. Like I
So
guess
I mean, a crow, obviously, like what you're saying is true, but that's even true to people that are probably still alive today. Like, if you went back like 100 years and tried to show them, half the shit that we have now, they're probably just like they can't grasp. They did that with like Have you ever seen the Futurama episode where like they didn't understand like how a microwave was a microwave? Like, how do you have this like box that just heats my food up?
yeah.
They didn't, shit like that.
Could you
We're like that. So who's to say an alien can't come down and show us some shit that like we literally can't
even
grasp because
yeah. Well, I didn't want to sound dumb by saying like they were so advanced that it's actually simple. But I was
that's what it is. Yeah.
yeah, but I was trying to like put it in terms of like maybe to them it's hella simple, but we just don't like, bro, humans have a really big ego, man. And I think we're gonna get we're gonna get really fucking humbled here quick. Like I really think we're about to get super humbled, and we kind of need to be, dude. We kind of need to be taken down a little bit, bro. Like we got to start thinking of like, I talked to Justin off camera about this, but I was just bringing up crows. But like I did a segment last week about the 4th of July and like the noises making our pets mad and all the the PTSD that it gives veterans and all that stuff. And people were just like calling me a pussy and keep your dog in a cage then pussy. It's like, bro, what? Do you like not understand that like it's okay to show empathy to other things? You know what I mean? Like, cause one day something might show up here that does not show sympathy to you. And you're gonna be like, but not all humans are bad. Yeah, but like not all, you know what I mean? Like it can literally go the other way too. Something can literally show up here and just look at you like a goddamn like the dog that you made fun of. It can look at you like like when people see like a spider that's about to stomp it, right? Like just because the spider was small, does that mean? But yeah, to end off that conversation is I think people need to be humbled and they need to understand that like something could easily come here and treat you like that, right? So let's together we kind of have to just tell everybody, hey, slow down there a little bit, bud. But
Do you think that the reason why they have technology and that kind of means is because the resources on their planet allow them to do so? And do you think that we're just kind of fucked or we're capped because they have this crazy shit that they can build with the materials they have and we have nothing like that here? Do you think that like we're gonna kind of plateau technology wise because we just literally can't build that stuff?
for the longest time, that's probably where my thinking was headed. But then like when you start reading articles, and I'm like super deep into the rabbit hole here, you start to hear stuff like, Stephen Greer and like other people who are in the UFO world. They'll talk about these civilizations are able to use the same type of material we have here, but they manipulate it differently. Like
Is
they're able to manipulate materials different, like on different dimensions and frequencies. So it could be that like, hey, they could use almost anything that the universe has to offer. They're just able to manipulate it differently. But if we're going off what you just said,
like, yeah, like we're on Earth, so we
I
can't.
definitely believe we will hit a peak. We'll hit a ceiling one day. And the more that we keep taking from the earth, maybe that's why cataclysms happen, bro. The more we take and the more we try to like push, the more damage it does to the earth, which then results in like mass extinction or like mass, like a disaster that's happening. Because maybe like there is a roof, we hit the roof and we keep trying to push it and like and take from the earth. I don't know, like, but going based off what you said, yeah, there definitely is probably going to be revealed that like we can't copy, because we clearly can't reverse engineer these things, right? We probably can to some extent, but not exactly how it's made, you know?
This is a really shitty example, but like I've had this conversation before. But this is why I kind of brought it up because, like music consumption really
Yeah.
started with like vinyls and radio, and then it turned into like discs, and then it was like auxiliary cords and everything like that. And now we have Bluetooth, right?
Mm.
How do you advance from Bluetooth when Bluetooth itself is literally nothing?
Yeah, you're right. How do you
Like
even?
Bluetooth is literally just I connect my device to another device. There's no cords, there's no nothing. It's literally just nothing. It's Bluetooth. Like how do you go from there? So that I wonder if that same thing applies to like space, not spacecraft, but like aircraft, vehicles,
Like
shit
if
like
you're
that.
if
Like
you
how
could
do
get a
you
UFO that can travel the galaxy and the universe, how do you go from there?
yeah.
What is there going from there? Like, is there a way to do it differently? Or like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, you're
I
right.
think that's what you would have to do because like take aircraft for example, right? We go off like um engine propellers and things of that nature to give us the speed to enable to do that. How do you do more with less? Like how a UFO doesn't have that stuff.
Yeah.
How then we can't replicate it because how do I make this thing go thousands of feet in the air, thousands of miles per hour, but not have the stuff that we use to make flight happen? Because they're just discs,
speaking of
right?
things like reaching its roof or like its ceiling, now when Emily was in another country, I was able to call her and speak to her instantly, even though she's in a different time. She's literally in a different time. She's hours like almost a whole day away, right? Literally in a different time zone, different time. It's like a different setting for her, but I could talk to her instantly,
Mm-hmm.
right? I wonder if like the next step would be you could be on Mars and I could call you and talk to you instantly, or you'd be in another planet or galaxy and I could call you and instantly talk to you. Like I wonder if that's the next step of like calling and like interacting with people, right? Or maybe it's like the Apple VR, right? Like I put on a VR and me and you are literally in the same room like we are right now, but you're literally not here.
Mm-hmm.
But we could still be in the same room and interact with each other as if we were in the same room. So like
Some matrix shit.
yeah, which is kind of what you were just talking about, like things hitting their ceiling. Like, what's the next step after this? What's the next, And it's interesting because we're gonna live to see a lot of it before we die. So, but before we end the episode off, I did want to talk about an article from UAPMAX.com, which is it was talking about some crazy shit, by the way, but I won't have enough time to break it down and give it its due justice. So right around the time that the hearings are happening is when I will talk about it, because it's supposed to be a guy coming forward and he's supposed to be talking at these hearings is what the guy's alleging. He reveals some crazy stuff, bro, about like civilization being here, like that they're not friendly. Like, what does that imply? But they're not malevolent, right? So they're not friendly, but they're not malevolent. They don't really view us like they view us like we view flies, right? Like, hey, get out of my way. Let us do what we got to do here. And if you get in our way, He was talking about this video of like a UAP like literally making a jet disintegrate with a green beam, and that there's video of an other UFOs like following this jet and like copying its maneuver and its speed, and after that it made that other jet disintegrate. Like, that's crazy. If there's video of that, this is what we're gonna get into, because the hearings that are coming up, right? So this came across my Twitter. So he's a congressman from Tennessee. He's a representative. His name is Tim Burchett. So this tweet, and I'll put it up here. He said the House Oversight Committee will hold a hearing on UAPs on Wednesday, 7/26. We are done with the cover-ups. Bro, let's go. You know what I mean? Hey, you can't talk like that in front. You know what I mean? Around people like me, we're done with the cover-ups. Hey, bud, that's a big bill. You gotta front the bill, dog. You know what I mean? I said, you gotta pay. You gotta put it up, bro. Right? But so already word coming out is that David Grush is going to be at this hearing. He will be speaking to these people at this hearing, right? And it's crazy because it's not like News Nation now. Like, you're talking to like the American public now, right? This is gonna be something that every news site has to report on. So CNN and Fox and all these people who usually don't, they're gonna have to report on this now. And if some crazy shit's revealed there, bro, this is literally, we're living through one of the biggest moments in human history, bro. It is. That is one of the biggest moments. Imagine like 50 years from now to some, when we're talking to our grandkids, like, and they're like, hey, grandpa, you were there when they revealed to the public that this is real? Like, yeah. Like, I was there when they had their hearing on 7/26, like, and I know the date and everything. When I have dementia, I don't know my grandkids, but I know that I like UFOs. But and I'll put this up. I'll put this one up here too. Another article was talking about this was like an official, like, I don't know if it's a flyer, but it was basically saying unidentified anomalous phenomena, implications on national security, public safety, and government transparency. It says July 26th, right, 2023 at 10 a.m. Gives the address and everything, and basically that there's going to be people speaking to these guys. What a crazy time to be living in, honestly. Now, the last couple weeks, I've been telling you guys you got to keep an open mind to this stuff, because this stuff's going to start scaring a lot of people, right? We've been hearing a lot of like the 2027 date being thrown around, right? They're like, hey, something's coming, or a big event's happening that they're rushing us for. Because think about it, right? Asen, this is all coming really fast now, right? Since me and you've been documenting this for our subscribers, this has been coming like a really, really fast, right? And why? What would be the reason that this is being pushed so fast now, right? There's only either way, it's not good in my opinion. If it's Project Bluebeam, right, and they're actually faking an alien invasion to like get us to be more submissive and one world government and make us more obedient, that's not good, right? But if it actually is aliens that are coming and they're preparing us for that, and these things aren't friendly but they're not malevolent, that's not good either, right? Like, no one really thought of those implications in my opinion. Right? When people are like, well, why would I tell my family that we don't even know what's real? You should be talking to your family, because even if they are faking it, you want to be around for that? Like, you're not going to be prepared when they are faking it? What if when it starts happening, like, wait a minute, I never got told any of this. Like, it's like Project Bluebeam. Well, bro, people have been trying to warn you guys for like years now, dude. Right? So if it's fake, not good. If this phenomena is real, and they're not friendly like these people are saying, then that's still not good, right? And this is going to change everything. Like, literally, I'm at the belief now by 2030, our whole reality is going to be completely different. This won't be the same. It won't be the same world we live in. The things you do and talk about and think will be completely different. And hopefully better technology comes with that. We all got to embrace the new earth together, because I believe that something's happening to, like, we're shifting into a new reality, and like, you can't really do anything about it, right? Like, we're only just like, kind of like what Justin says a lot, like, what am I supposed to do, right? And which is true. Like, what is one person supposed to do, right? So just prepare yourself, bro. Like, if they're faking it, pay attention to what's happening on the news, right? But if they're not faking it, you still got to pay attention, because shit's about to start changing. Like, regardless, things aren't going to be the same. So, But yeah, that was episode 122, guys. Thank you for everything. Thank you guys again for the Spotify, Apple Podcast, TikTok. I said TikTok. For the TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels. It's those numbers are doing amazing. The one thing that I can't get to go up anymore is YouTube Shorts. So that's been a struggle with me lately. But like, yeah, everything else, guys, thank you for the support. Hopefully one day we can make this like a lucrative thing where, maybe I can do more than one episode a week. We could do other stuff. We can, do different types of shows, different types of content, keep things on a lighter tone one day and one day keep it on the mysterious unknown stuff. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, hopefully next week will be the 4-year anniversary video with me and Warren. If not, it'll be sometime after that, give or take like a week or two. Looking forward to that. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me again. And until next time, peace.